Global warming is very real. It's December 15th in Virginia, and I'm outside in a short sleeve t-shirt right now. It's awesome to have this type of weather, but it's also scary to think at the same time how we're destroying our environment. Today's vlog is basically just going to be a story, and you know what? I don't think this works. So many of you know that I Uber on the weekends for extra money. So I had something interesting happen to me over the weekend, and I just had to share this story with everyone. So this is really good for people that use Uber and people that are Uber drivers if you've never had this happen to you. So it's Saturday night.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling.
I should have known before it happened. Well, right before that, a gentleman got in my car and he asked me, I'm sure crazy things happen to you as an Uber driver, right? And I said, well, not that really. And I went over a couple stories with him. He was like, have you ever had anybody throw up in your car before? I said, absolutely not. I'm able to spot those people a mile away, and I don't allow them in my car if I think for a second that they're going to throw up. So the very next pickup I do, it's 3 young girls. They're all college girls. They actually went to my school, Long University. And I should have known from the start. One of them jumps in and she starts screaming, it's my 21st birthday. Should have known that that was a very bad sign. So, no problem there. Get them in the car. But the name that came up for the person who requested the ride was Stu. And it was 3 girls. Now, in hindsight, I'm looking back, I should have realized that there's no female name that, an abbreviated version of that would be Stu. But let him in the car anyway, we started driving. We get a few minutes away, and one of them leans over to me and she says, I have to confess something to you, Sam. And I'm like, what is it? She's like, we stole this Uber ride. I'm like, none of us in the car are Stu.
Stu?
But we're college girls, and we really can't afford it, and guys can afford it, so we're just gonna, it's all good. We're just gonna go ahead and take this ride and move forward. Immediately, I start to think, that's not cool, you shouldn't have done that. Then I get an alert on the phone saying that Stu canceled the ride. So now they're in my vehicle and I have no one's account attached to it, which is against the law. So what I do from there is I pull over on the side of the road. I let them know, hey, if you guys want me to take you, then you have to connect to my app on Uber. Then they start complaining and crying. Oh my gosh, I don't have any money, Susie, can you attach yours? I paid for the Uber last time. So they're literally arguing for 10 minutes.
I'm so broke.
The girl whose birthday it is, the 21st birthday, she's in the back screaming, just drive to the West End, you're good. And I'm like, I'm not driving anywhere until I get a credit card attached to this. So, finally, one of them connects, they're even complaining, saying I don't have any data on my phone, I don't even have a connection, to do the Uber. I'm like, I don't want to leave you guys stranded, but I can take you back somewhere else. You guys can call a taxi cab, whatever the case is. So finally, after a lot of moaning and complaining, one of them finally attaches their Uber. One of them finally attaches their Uber to the account. So I'm able to start driving. So we get on the highway. We're going the right direction. Then all of a sudden, this one girl who hadn't said anything the entire ride, all of a sudden while I'm driving on the highway, I hear.
Lay down, honey. Oh, yeah. That's how.
Guys,
Oh.
I love you guys. I love you so much.
You got to be kidding me. The girl to my right was sitting in the front. She didn't hear anything. And the girl that was sitting in the back right next to her didn't even notice. She was Snapchatting selfies the whole time. So I immediately pull over. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The girl beside me was like, no, you're fine. Keep going on the highway. I was like, you didn't hear that? I was like, she just threw up in the back of my car. She immediately turns around. The girl beside her looks. She's like, oh my gosh. So I pull over on the side. Luckily I had an old t-shirt in the bag. Gave her that t-shirt, got her to clean it up. It smelled awful. So then, it becomes a very awkward ride because we got a 20-minute drive to their house, and they just ruined my car, and I'm sitting here salty, so nobody's saying anything. They were all happy before. Nobody's saying anything anymore. So we finally get to their place. The girl in the front just apologizes 1,000 times. Look, I'm so sorry. I give them another t-shirt. I say, hey, clean up all of this before you get out the car. They keep running to their dad's house or something like that. So here's where it got interesting. So the fare by itself, I think, was like 26, 27 bucks, but they were complaining, saying they didn't have the money for that. So the girl who paid for the Uber ride, she was the one that was sitting in the front with me. She's the one who ultimately got charged for her friend puking. So for those of you who don't know, let me educate you, all right? If you're an Uber rider, the last thing you want to do is puke in somebody's car, okay? I'm gonna tell you why. It is extremely expensive, okay? I didn't realize what the charge was. I just knew that I had to take pictures and file a report to Uber right through the app. It's very simple. So I get an email. I'm doing some research. I'm up till like 3:30 in the morning cleaning out my car. Still didn't get it all out. Finally went and got it detailed the next morning before I had to go do some stuff. Guess how much they got charged? 200 bucks.
Say what?
Felt kind of bad because it wasn't even her. It was her friend. But at the same time, you should know that too as a rider. If you have a friend in the car that you think is going to puke, do not let them in. A bunch of cleaning products and things like that that may have cost me about 5 to 10 bucks to get everything out. So if you're an Uber rider, just know that if somebody pukes in your car, you're going to get paid 200 bucks. So that's awesome. It sucks that somebody puked in your car because it smells, but lesson learned to those who are Uber riders and Uber drivers.